Hey everybody, in this Medit i500 video tutorial, I want to cover full arch scanning, specifically when a user is crossing from one quadrant to the next and we go across the midline. What can tend to happen is we can have tons of scatter, double images, and just really inaccuracies when we go across the anterior or the midline without proper technique. So the solution, have good technique. So we're going to cover three things today, and I'm going to give you a demo on it, okay? So because the incisal edges of human teeth are translucent, and because 3D scanners like the Medit simply just project light to image and measure the teeth, we can have a scatter issue, essentially, where light is running into light at different angles, and it causes the computer screen to get confused. So what we see on our computer screen is a double image, distortions, things that our design team wouldn't be able to work with. So again, the recipe is just good scan technique and really good retraction. Okay, so rule number one is the scan tip always pointed towards the back of the patient's throat. That's going to ensure good orientation. What we don't want you doing is when I come across the quadrant in the midline here, we don't want you wrapping the camera like this to scan the anteriors or the facial of the anteriors or even the occlusion. We want it, again, not pointed sideways. We want it pointed towards the back of the patient's throat at all time. Step number two is you just want to use linear scan angles to capture the occlusal, lingual, and buccal. What you're going to notice I'm going to do is I'm going to be tipping my camera upside down to get the facials, and I'll be tipping it like this to get the linguals of the anteriors. Okay, so I'm going to tip it upside down to get the facials, right side up to get the linguals, and I'll get the occlusion straight across. Okay. Third, definitely the most important, is we just got to get the lips out of the way. That's enemy number one. I would really recommend down here turning on your glove scan filter. That way the camera will ignore your gloves. So I'll just use my non-dominant hand to get the lips out of the way. So as you can see, right, I just kept the camera parallel, and then I used that tipping technique, still keeping it parallel, just going up and down. That way the scanner itself can image and see all three surfaces of the teeth. Okay, so keep the camera orientation parallel, occlusal, lingual, buccal motions, and tipping the camera up and down to see the facial and the lingual surfaces, and then make sure you get the lips out of the way. And that'll help you prevent distortions when you cross the midline.